Welcome to Tab Talks, where I believe that talking is healing and listening is feeling. This is my first ever podcast. Creating my first ever podcast called Tab Talks. Talking is healing, right? Talking is healing. I believe that through talking, because I love to talk a lot, that I actually gain some healings from sharing information, especially with my mates. So that's basically why I created this podcast. I want to talk with my friends about their journeys, the things they've learned, tell some stories about our life, and just hopefully it might resonate with anyone listening out there. Because as much as talking is healing, so is listening. So here we go. Hello and welcome to another Tab Talks episode.
Can't wait.
I've got a very, very special guest on today.
I'm special now, am I?
You are pretty special. We've got the man, the myth, the legend.
Hey,
Daddy G. You got this nickname actually from, by the way, Daddy G is my dad, Greggy.
Hello.
And I think it was some friends in college actually that named you Daddy G.
Yeah, I think so.
Because you're a bit of a legend.
Hey.
And G is
Hold
gangster,
on.
right?
I'll just lick my eyebrows.
Oh God. So G, I'm pretty sure I was thinking about this today. You know, oh, she's such a G. I think that means such a gangster, but the coolest kind of person.
Oh.
Why do we think gangsters are cool? Anyway.
Gangster school?
Gangsters are cool.
Oh, I don't know.
Because when you say, oh my gosh, they're such a G, that means
that's what you mean,
you're
right?
such a gangster. So Daddy G, that's why it was so good.
Well, that's a little bit young for me, I'm afraid. I always think of gangsters as Bonnie and Clyde and people like that. So,
Bonnie and Clyde? Get out your pistol.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Anyway, we have got Greg, my dad Greg, on the poddy. And we're going to do things a little bit differently today because we're just going to have, well, we always have a chat, but
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask you about, what was it that I said? The 3 biggest moments of your life and why.
Oh, I don't think I've read that. That's probably
Didn't do the
tricky.
prep.
Oh, gosh.
Didn't read the brief.
No, what brief? Yeah,
Dad,
one sentence. Yeah.
To be honest, no, Dad's been in schools today.
Yeah.
One of his passion, well, it's not even a passion project. It's a bit bigger than my passion project. But you can explain. What have you been doing today?
No, we go. I run this charity called Retune, and we go into schools to teach year 5. So that's like the 9 and 10-year-olds about their mental well-being, and we link it to creativity and music. So it's good fun. It's great
really
fun,
cute.
and it gives me a bit of a purpose in life. So
Definitely. And music is a huge part of you, Daddy G the brand.
yeah, since I was brought up with music around me, Mum and Grandma Marion and Pop were both musicians. They met at the Royal Academy of Music, and I've always had music around me, so I've got a bit of that brush in me, I think, and I just love it. And I don't think too hard about music, which is just lucky, I think, and in fact, it's very lucky, almost magic, I would say.
Music is magic, as
So
my brother would say.
Yeah, music is magic, and I've many conversations with your brother Ben about the magic of music and the universe and stuff like that, but we won't go into that now, maybe.
Well,
but it's beautiful.
Well, yeah, actually, the whole family line loves music. I don't play any instruments, but obviously I dance, I roller skate, I've sang in musicals.
Yeah.
Ben is an amazing pianist, music creator.
I was going to say, I think it's about creativity. It doesn't have to be music. It could be art, cooking, dancing, singing, poetry, whatever. All that stuff.
Well, as you've said that word, creativity, I think that is what this episode actually should be about.
Well, I shall try and create something.
Well, creativity in general, but I really like the way, this is really important because it is a really big part of you, and with the Retune way. So would you like to explain about scales?
Oh, crikey, this is nice. I didn't think we were going to go down this route.
Not that you've done it all day today.
No, it's all right, it's fine. So it's really, really simple model. What we think is that an awful lot of young people, particularly, we go into all sorts of ages, adults through down to sort of year 5. So 9 and 10 is about the youngest you can go. If you're doing music in a school, anything below that, it's a bit of a jolly up and they just dance around and don't really get it.
Still good.
And year 6, the ones that are just about to go to big school are going, whoa, well, I'm just off to big school then. So but year 5 is perfect because the kids get what we're talking about, and it's linked to, quite simply, it's the strings on a guitar. If you play a chord on a guitar and it's perfectly in tune, it sounds nice. Right, the kids can hear that, and we ask them, say, "Can you hear that?" And they go, "Yes." Does it sound nice? They go, "Yeah, it's nice." And then we will detune. If any of you who are guitar players will know what I mean. So we'll detune the bottom string, the E, the lowest string on a guitar, and we detune that, and then you play the chord with just one string out of those 6 strings out of tune, and the whole guitar sounds out of tune. And then we say to them, "Yeah, but these ones are all right," and we go, "Bing. Bing, 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 bing. It's just this one. Bong. That's out of tune." All right. And then we say, "So what do I have to do to tune that up?" And they say, "Twist the knobbly thing, sir." So we twist the knobbly thing and we tune up the string, and they can hear the guitar slowly coming back into tune. So those other 5 strings perfectly in tune. And then we tune up the bottom one so the whole guitar sounds in tune again. But then this is the crux. We say, well, imagine each one of these strings was part of your life. So the scales model, which is just a nice musical connotation.
It is a nice one.
Is sleep, which is everyone knows, it's important for your well-being. Creativity, that's our special. Not many people do creativity, but because we're musicians, Tom and I and Austin and people that work for us, they're all musicians. So creativity is really special for us. And then everyone does active, so going out and running around and doing stuff is good for you. And when you go for a run, not me, but if you go for a run, you don't necessarily always want to do it, but afterwards you actually feel better. Then there's listen. That's 2 things. So the listen string is listening to your body, eating the right stuff, trying to look after yourself. And it's all right. We say it's all right. If you want a bit of chocolate, eat a bit of chocolate, but then maybe balance it out and have an apple or a bit of fruit or something. So listen to your body. Your body will normally tell you what's good for you. And listening is also about inspiration. So it's about reading. It's about getting podcasts and listening to music and getting stuff that's outside of your own head. So that's the important thing. Sometimes we're all really, really busy in our heads. So listen to other people. Earth, brilliant. Hugging trees, getting out in nature, walking on the beach, walking the dog, whatever, building dens, beautiful. Everyone likes nature. And pick up your litter on that. Tell these kids that. And, we pick up the litter. And then the other S is social. And when we say social, we always say not social media. And we ask the kids, how do you feel if someone's on the phone when they're talking to you? And they say, well, it feels like I don't matter. And we say exactly. So social is about building relationships and love, and it's about family, siblings and stuff like that.
I love that. So just to be clear, the word scales, each letter represents a part of your life.
Yeah, one of the strings of your life. Yeah.
And so S was...
sleep.
C was...
creativity.
A was...
active.
L...
listen.
E...
earth.
And S...
social.
Social. Love that.
Yeah, well, if you can tune up your strings, then you might feel better than you might otherwise do. We're not saying it's a cure-all, but it's a nice way of doing it.
It's a super nice way of doing it, and it really means... I know you always talk so passionately about it because of your music history. Daddy G.
Daddy G. Mr. Sax Man.
The Sax Man, blues sax man, if you can find him on Instagram.
Oh, no, don't. I don't do any of that social stuff.
Do you remember when you you created a secret Instagram because the bots were getting you?
Fred Smith.
Fred Smith. Ben and I got. God.
You immediately sussed me out.
So Dad doesn't really do social media so much. You're a Facebook person, aren't you? But
well, I'm very old now.
On Instagram, Dad is called Blues Sax Man. But then you know how you sometimes get those creepy bots that look at your page and they're a bit
it's
sexual
awful.
orientated and a bit weird.
Yeah.
And Dad was hating them, so he deactivated his Instagram and created an incognito account called Fred Smith. And then Ben got a new follower called Fred Smith, follows one other person, followed me. I got a new follower, Fred Smith. Oh, who does Fred Smith follow? Ben Camden. We thought...
You sussed me.
We got you straight away. We're like, oh,
Yeah,
Dad's on the loose.
It was about 3 minutes, I think, and you worked it out, yeah.
And then we just told you, sack off Fred Smith and go back to Blues Saxman. At least we know who you are.
Well, I did, and then I lost all the contacts and followers that I did. Now I've got about 4, I think. I don't know. I don't really do it. And,
no, but that is funny. But yeah, no, music's a massive part of your life, and I love that you are giving back to the little legends that are in schools, and it's a really nice thing to do, and I'm glad we spoke about that.
No, it's lovely, yeah. It's a nice thing to do.
So we will come back onto creativity, but what I wanted to ask you, being my dad, and Dad and I have a really good relationship, as you can probably tell. We do have a laugh, we talk about anything, all kinds of things that you wouldn't necessarily expect dads and daughters to speak about. Probably too much information at some times.
Possibly, yeah.
On both sides.
Yeah, on both sides, yeah. God. Yeah.
But
you did what?
You did what? But no, we get on really, really well. And my dad is one of the wisest, most interesting people I know.
I'm going to get shy now.
And I love talking to you. So who else better to have on? But I'm going to just ask you a few questions. So question number 1.
Oh, God.
What was the best moment of your life to date? That is difficult. Whoa. Just one for now.
I've got to say, I really hadn't thought about this.
You didn't do the prep.
I didn't do the prep, no.
He only got the prep probably about an hour ago, to be honest.
When I was working, it's got to be. I'm going to fly from the pants here. It's probably having children, I think.
I had a feeling you might say that.
Well, you probably wanted me to.
No, I didn't actually. I thought there was a few other options, but I'm glad that it was.
No, it would be having children, and it's the way that you have to suddenly mature. And you've got these little lives you've got to look after, and there's this, and it's beautiful. In the start, the children aren't big enough or mature enough to love you back, but you unconditionally love your daughter and son. You know, obviously there's a gap in between, thankfully, so I could get some sleep. And you and me and your mum used to argue about how much sleep we'd get, and we're talking about like, well, you got 20 minutes more sleep than me last night, all that sort of stuff. But the amazing feeling of love and care that you have for your children is just unbelievable. Anyone who's got children will, I hope, feel that, and then it sort of comes around again because you feel this unconditional love from your children back, and you know when they sometimes have a little go at you, but it's because they feel safe in that unconditional love that they can do that, and you get that. Sometimes it's a bit but generally speaking it works, and it's because you have this unconditional love, and it's a beautiful thing. Yeah,
that's so nice. And I just remember just a memory that just came into my head then.
Oh no, here we go.
No, it's not bad at all. It's a really
nice one. What are you talking
one.
About, pickle pants?
Pickle pants. No, it was just a nice one. I think I'd been through a breakup and I wasn't living at home. I was living with my boyfriend at the time. So we'd just broken up and I was living with him at the time. And I hadn't really been speaking to your mum at the time either. I think we'd had a pretty bad fallout.
Mum?
No, my mum.
Oh, your mum.
Yeah. So I wasn't speaking to the family at the time either, and I just remember a big old Dark Night of the Soul moment. It all comes crashing down. I'm crying. I'm like, I don't know what to do, and I just called Dad, like, Dad, what's happened? Where are you? Have you been attacked? And I was like, no, I haven't been attacked. I'm just very emotional. And he said, come home, I'll make you some Parma ham and homemade chips. Yeah. And it was just the perfect dinner, Parma ham and homemade chips. Yeah. And that's what dads are for. You were always really good at that.
I think there's
being a dad.
There's always a protective thing, whether it's a son or daughter. So there's a protective thing there. And several times throughout life, you cannot be there. I cannot be there to protect you. So sometimes, as your dad, I remember saying to you once, I said, "Oh, be careful if you're walking round there at night," and you had a right go at me. And I actually did it out of love and my protective instinct for you. And you said, "Oh, wear what I like and I'll walk where I like." I went, ah. But actually, I get what you meant. But you, at the time, I think you get it now. But at the time, you didn't understand where my protective nature was coming from. And I think most dads and mums have that for their kids. So.
Yeah, well, I guess for a child, you feel restricted in that you're trying to cut my fun. Whereas you're doing it from a protection and love point of view.
Yes, but it doesn't come across like that always.
Not when you're younger, no. And do you remember, I used to go to the under-17s disco at the local club called H2O when I was about 16. No,
the place to go.
14.
Oh, younger, yeah, 14.
Yeah, because 16 I was long gone. But Dad, on purpose, used to drive all the way slowly past the queue of people waiting outside. And I'd be like, "Dad, what are you doing? Why?" And then to pick me up, of course, I ask, "All right, Dad, yeah, we're coming out now. Just wait round the corner." Dad's there. Beep, beep, beep. "Hiya, you're right."
Yeah.
At the front door.
And I think I said a few times, I'm going to wear my pink shell suit and go, "Tabby, hiya, it's your father."
I'm here.
You know? And every time it's wait round the corner, I'll meet you. I thought, no, if I'm not getting sleep and I'm up at 5 in the morning and you want picking up at 1 or whatever, you're going to be there on time. And that happened a couple of times. But c'est la vie.
C'est la vie. Oh, so
it
funny.
Worked. We got you home.
It definitely did work, yeah. And you were always great at that and helping me with lifts and things like that. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So amazing. One of the best moments in your life was having children because you can give the unconditional love and reciprocally feel it back eventually. Yeah,
it doesn't happen straight away, but it sort of does when children first start getting sort of sentient, I suppose. I know they are. Initially they just need to eat and poo and live and be alive and kept warm and stuff like that. But after a while, when they're little smiley things and they get humour and it's beautiful. It's just a lovely thing. And then as you get older and you have to learn rules that your parents set, rightly or wrongly, you try and set the right ones, and then you've got to try and rebel. But I think, part of that first thing that you've asked me, if there's going to be more, I'm now struggling, but part of that first thing is the fact that you and Benjamin have grown up into what I would say are well-balanced human beings.
Aww.
And I'm extremely impressed with the fact that you have both decided to give up alcohol, which is one thing that I choose not to at the moment, but there's probably a whole different argument.
I wonder why.
There's a whole different argument around that, but I choose not to, and I actually do enjoy a beer, but I am so pleased, and the difference it's made to you and Ben's life is just unbelievable.
Appreciate that, thank you.
That's all right.
No, I really appreciate it. And I guess with children, it's more of a long-term investment.
You could call it that. Yeah, you think, oh, that will change in a few years, and it doesn't. It just changes. The worries change, and the love is still the same, but it's different sorts of worries. It turns from just making sure you're safe and warm and fed and home at the right time and no one's nicked you, or to relationships and where are you living, have you got enough money, are you going to be okay, all those sort of worries, and it's easy to dismiss those, but they're very, very real for your parents, and that's because they love you.
Yeah,
that's the bottom line.
Yeah, that's so true.
And we probably get it wrong loads and loads of times, but it's all meant from a position of love. And and I think you get to know that and understand it. And the weird thing is, because I've lost my mum and dad now, and I miss them so much, and I would do anything to sit down again with my dad and my mum and just have conversations like you and I have now.
Yeah,
and I've had those conversations. I've had those conversations with my dad. I used to speak to him about life and death, and and it was beautiful.
Well, yeah.
So to have those conversations, and we're lucky because we do. We
are very lucky because we do. And I think I mentioned on the first podcast, I always thought that we only had those conversations when we drank.
Oh,
and now look at us. So nice.
Now you're sober and I'm sort of sober. So
well, you're more sober around us, and then also...
Well, I don't drink as much as I used to anyway, do I?
Yeah, so then we all remember the lovely deep chats that we have, which is really, really nice.
Well, absolutely. I think... in the days when you were drinking and I was definitely drinking, we would have these lovely chats, and then you probably wouldn't remember the intricacies and the depth of it, and the feeling that was, and the emotion that was part of those at the time. Now we're sober. You're definitely sober a year clear. It's unbelievable. That is unbelievable, and I love it. I love it, and with Benj as well, and totally different people. So now we have those conversations. We remember them.
Yeah, it's so nice, isn't it? And that was a big turning point for me, because that was, I think, a little bit of the bit I was holding on to with drinking, is that, but we do have good deep chats, or I do have a really interesting date when I drink, and actually it was not real belief. It was not real. It was just keeping me in that loop. But anyway, we talk about alcohol.
I know you have, but how many people do the same thing? Yeah. And they go through their lives with living this thing, and they think there's something missing, and it's probably because they're not straight at the time. Being super present. Yeah, definitely.
The other thing I wanted to bring up, similar question, but now you've said the best thing that happened to you.
Yeah.
What was the biggest life experience that happened to you?
Oh my God.
You know probably what this is.
Yeah, I do. I'm not sure I want to go down this route, but it would have to be... I'm going to mention it.
Yeah,
because I
it's
think
worth
it needs to
mentioning.
mention it. Well,
Real.
I had cancer a few years ago, and in fact... Monday was the 3-year anniversary of when I was diagnosed.
No way, of course it was.
21st of January, yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, 21st of January 21.
Yeah.
I was
in lockdown.
Fully and final, yeah, and I knew it was coming along, but they actually said yes, it was the 21st. And I had cancer and stuff like that, and you go through a period of time. I don't need to do the journey and all that stuff. That's not important. I'm better now. I've been given the all clear. But it's pretty good.
Winning at life.
So you are forced to deal with your mortality, and that, if you were going to say what are the 3 most amazing things that happened to you in your life, second or first, kids I've done, but the second thing is being lucky enough, and I'm sorry if this offends people, I don't mean to offend anyone at all, but
it's your truth. Keep going.
It's my truth. Yeah, it is, and it's real. But you are forced to contemplate your own mortality, and then you suddenly think, bloody hell.
Wowza.
I might die here. And that's not important to a lot of you people. If all your people listening to this, your age or younger or slightly older, but it's really quite not scary. It's not scary. It's just a reality check, and it's like getting a slap around the face with a wet kipper. And and it's get your act
shakes
together.
things up, doesn't it?
Shake your life up, sunshine, and you have to. And I tried to remain positive all the way through my treatment. I think I did that pretty well, and I had some really scary, breaking down in tears sometimes on my own with a shutter shut, and really struggling with it, and had some very, very dark moments. But generally speaking, it was a wake-up call, and it was about enjoying life and the beauty of life and the magic of life, and how lucky you are to have come through what I did.
I think in a similar way, Dad, what's just come in, sorry to cut you off.
That's all right.
But it's about being super present again.
Probably, yeah. I've not thought of it like that because I wouldn't, but yeah, no, I think you're right. And it's being amazed at the beauty of life and the magic of life. And I can look out of my window sometimes, and there's a bloody great big car park that they built over my view of the trees.
Angry dad.
Angry dad moment. And I can still see a bit of the trees left, and the sun might be coming up behind the grey clouds, and the wind's blowing and the rain's blowing. And I can still look out on that and think, how lovely it is to be alive, and just to be in the present and think in that moment. So I'm not thinking of anything else, but I'm alive. I'm actually alive, and I feel pretty good.
Yeah. And how much strength you had to have to go through that treatment process, because luckily Dad was told very early doors that he would be okay if he took part in all of the treatment that was offered.
Yeah.
So you did have that good prognosis at the start, which does help with getting through it. But you did it, the inner strength it took. Gosh, I was witness to the whole thing.
Yeah,
it was pretty impressive. It's pretty savage, the treatment.
Oh, it is, yeah.
I'm undecided if I would ever choose to go through that myself.
What other option is there?
Exactly. It depends on the situation, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it was pretty savage. You did amazingly well, and it was really
help.
with a bit of help from me and from many other people.
Yeah.
But the saddest part of it was at the beginning, because the type of cancer that Dad had was head and neck cancer. They were thinking they might have to take out part of your tongue, and you therefore would not have been able to play saxophone,
I know.
which is wild. You were not really bothered about anything else. That was the bit for you that was just horrendous. And then, luckily enough, 2 years later, I'm hosting a roller disco in Ibiza. My dad comes out to play saxophone epically at my roller disco event. It was just such a life moment for me. I was just so happy.
Good fun, yeah.
He's playing just as amazing as ever, completely freestyle from the heart, as you always have done.
Yeah.
And wow, what a gift.
Absolutely.
Even more of a gift now, I guess.
Oh, totally, yeah. I there's nothing better for me than music. Obviously, there's love and there's friends and family and stuff like that, and they're beautiful things, but a real special is music. And for other people, it might be their art, or maybe making a pot, or writing a story, or whatever. But for me, music is just a beautiful thing, and I think there's so many people love music. So many people, but I remember saying to you, when you dance, give a little bit of yourself to that dance. And I've said to Ben, when you're playing, give a bit of yourself to that audience, because I don't know how it works. And you don't have to be the best player in the world, and I certainly am not. But if you give it a bit of your feeling and the love inside yourself, how it moves, you can see it, you can hear it. I've said this so many times. People go, if they listen to this, they go, "Oh God, he's
no, they don't."
But
people love it.
You can see an artist dancing or playing music or ballet or whatever, and you can hear it. That's what it is. That's the physical sort of stuff. But if you can feel it, it's a different level, and I don't know how that works, but it's a magic. And if someone is playing with feeling, or dancing with feeling, or writing poetry with feeling, or painting a picture, sorry, we're sitting in front of a picture now, and I love it. But the lady who painted it with emotion when she did it, and that jumps out at me. Maybe not to everyone, but to me that jumps out. So I'm feeling the emotion that lady put into that picture, and that is vital. Anything you're doing artistically, give your best, give yourself to it, and it will come across.
Your soul resonates with the energy that person's soul put into the picture.
Something like that.
It's like attracts like, though, isn't it? And whatever.
I think so, yeah.
I always have been told the things you like in others are reflected back to you. So,
I think so, yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
But when you talk about music like that, giving a bit of yourself, we've both watched the Disney film Soul, right?
Oh yeah.
Where they get in the zone and they're meditating almost in the zone from playing the music. And you've said that you have that, don't you, when you play at the weddings?
God, yeah. I think I have told you this before, but there's certain times, and it's not every time at all. It's just every now and then you can be playing, generally speaking, it's live music with a band. Not when I'm doing the weddings and the disco stuff and stuff like that. And sometimes it happens a bit there and there's a special moment and you hit the zone. But if you're playing live music with other musicians that are all feeling it, all giving their emotion, it all sort of slows down and you look round and go, whoa. And,
this is amazing.
And someone looks back at you and it's just this knowing look and feel with those musicians. And you can play with other musicians sometimes and they're very good, and I'm not knocking anyone, and it's you're doing a great job, but occasionally you get this moment and it's just, I keep using the word magic, but it is magic. And there will be, I could introduce you to people who say, oh yeah that was a good night, or that was brilliant, that one, and it's just some sort of beautiful, everyone's on the same vibration or whatever it is, the same energy as you were talking about. So.
Well, we've spoken about this before, because I think it's similar when people go to a club. Obviously, Ibiza is clubbing capital of the world, and I love a night called Glitterbox, which is
that a bit like the disco I used to go down the local village hall?
Yeah, exactly like that. No, it's a club night in Ibiza. It's disco house. Lots of creatives perform there. You've got drag queens, you've got dancers, you've got all different types of diversities and people performing as creative individuals. Yeah. And my housemate Ellie, I told you this before, one time she was doing her set and she was dancing so much from the soul.
Yeah.
The music the DJ was playing was so much from his or her soul, and the music combined with Ellie's dancing made this kind of crazy frequency of energy that just hit me in the face, and I was just in awe. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I could physically feel the vibration, or I don't know what it is, the energy from the performance. I think it's
definitely something with vibration. And
amazing.
We talk about energy in the universe, but
we love the universe.
Convinced music is something on this universal sort of plane, but that's another conversation.
Yeah, no, I think it is.
I think you're right. Sometimes everything hits the right vibration and it sort of moves you.
It's the combo.
I don't know what it'll move people differently as well. So some people might feel sad, happy, elated, whatever. They might feel these different things, because the vibration of everything, but music definitely has that.
Yeah, definitely does. And for me, it was the combo of the music is going through Ellie's ears into her body, and she's transmitting the energy of music through her dance moves.
But that's been going on for centuries, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Just the earliest musics came from rhythm and dance in Africa. As far as we know, as far as I'm aware and what I've been taught, and you get in almost trance-like situations through the beat and the humming and the singing or whatever. So it's amazing stuff.
Yeah, now I'm thinking about it, it's almost a physical manifestation of something we can't see.
Wow. Write that down. Write it down.
But then if you...
I think it's been said before, but write it down.
Yeah, but that is what dance is, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
It's creating a
physical
physical image.
Well, it's not when I do it.
You've got a few moves. I've seen Daddy G.
Well, I did that silent disco for you that time. That was a laugh.
The silent disco, it was great. Oh, I love that. But I remember, going back to the Big C.
Oh, yeah.
I remember you saying afterwards, actually, even maybe during, before it got really bad, this is one of the best things that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important that it needs to be shared. Why? Why do you think it was one of the best things that ever happened?
Well, it's going back to sort of what I said earlier on. So you're forced to confront your own mortality, and then you suddenly realise that the things that you have stressed and worried about and been close to some very heavy mental breakdowns over just aren't important. There's just the things that are important in life, and it really is the simple stuff. It's love, it's friendship, it's music, of course, I would say. Weirdly, food for me, and I couldn't eat for like a year and a half. And
that was a big one for you.
I had a big old thing through my tummy to feed me and all that, and I still can't taste quite the same as I used to. But so food.
What happens? So explain a little bit. So during some of the treatment, you lose your taste, don't you? Your taste buds.
I lost the ability to swallow and
lost the ability to eat in general,
but create saliva and stuff like that. And you lose your taste buds, and
that was hard because
of course it is. I'm a foodie. I was 5 stone heavier.
You were a foodie, little fatty.
5 stone heavier. I was a little fatty. A little musical sax playing fatty.
You were though, Benny the Bull.
I was Benny the Bull, yeah, Benny the Bull. And then, so in a way, the cancer, I lost weight. There's no way I couldn't lose weight.
It was a crash diet, wasn't it? Well, unfortunately.
Yes, sadly. But I mean, well, no, I say sadly. I'm pleased it helped me lose that weight. But when you lose all that fat, your outer casing, as Ben puts it, you lose your outer casing, but then if you're not getting the right nutrients, you start eating muscle, and I got very weak, and I was 10 stone.
You were not looking good.
Sticks and stones, or sticks and bones.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know where I was going with that, but but it's good. But so food is another one. Music, I've said, love, relationships. I'm not going to say the word sex, but having physical relations with someone you love is beautiful. So these are beautiful things. Children talking, having good conversation, not drunken conversation, good conversation.
And do you think that? And
nature, and in, when it's chucking it down with rain, actually this is really nice,
But do you think that you appreciated those things before, but now you just have more presence with them, or do you think that actually you didn't really appreciate them as much before?
I think I probably always appreciated them, but they were clouded by all the things that you thought were important.
Right.
So when you drop all the things that you think were important that aren't,
Yeah.
and I promise anyone listening to this, there's millions of things out there that you think are important that aren't.
They're
Just
not.
get rid of them. Get
Stress,
rid of them.
fear, worry,
all
anxiety.
That, yeah. Love is much better. Don't hate anyone or anything. Just, if you hate someone, just get them out of your life and just do the love stuff and the kindness and be kind to people. You know, try and be kind to people and
Could I just
enjoy those
interject?
little things.
Because after you always are very smiley, happy, jolly Greg. But after you had the cancer treatment, I think you were in remission and we had Christmas and we all went for a Christmas Boxing Day walk, me, you and Ben. And you said hello to every single person that passed you.
Yeah.
And it was cute. But Ben and I were almost cringing and dying inside, but at the same time, like full of like absolute like, oh, you're the cutest person
But
ever.
how nice would it be if everyone, as you know, sometimes.
Hello there. Hello. Good morning.
Hi, good
Hello.
morning. How are you
Happy
doing?
Christmas.
What a lovely day today.
Every second of the walk.
Yeah, and it's a bit weird, as you say. It's a bit weird because we
It's
don't
not.
do it. Hold on a second.
we don't do it.
But you come back to London. You live in a lovely island of Ibiza, right? And I've been there once, and it was beautiful, and I didn't really see it all. But you come back to London, and you get this funny little vibe, and you sort of smile at people as you walk along, and then people have got their miserable London grey faces on, and they're all dressed in black, and blah blah blah. That's a generalisation, of course it is.
But it is
Some
very
people
true.
love it. Some people love London cosmopolitan, one of the best cities to live in the world, if you like it. But there's this sort of lack of personal sort of
Totally.
niceness and love that seems to be there. And I think that's possibly a fairly general thing in Western society.
Yeah, and as much as me and Ben laughed that walk, it was actually so lovely because people were just brightening. You were brightening their day, and they were a bit shocked. They were, oh God, but you were just. Of course, I'm going to say hello to everyone. It's Boxing Day. And it's a lovely morning, and I'm on a lovely walk.
Did I ever tell you about the time I sat on the bench over by Waitrose?
You've told me once recently, but please tell everyone listening.
Oh no, I decided to do something on the back of that. So
Yes,
it was
that
probably
was
about 2 years ago. So I was pretty ill at the time, and I sort of strolled across to the shop, and I sat down on the bench, and there was this thing. They said, "Open me. This is for you." And it was an envelope, a brown envelope, and I thought, brown envelope, I wonder what's in there. So I opened it up, and there was a card in there. I've got a picture of it somewhere. I won't be able to find it now. And it said, yeah, this is for you. I just thought I'd send this to you and wish you a really happy and lovely day. And I thought it might brighten your world. And I was ill, and I was really not very well at the time.
In the middle of treatment.
And I didn't imagine it because I got a photograph of it. And it was such a nice thing to do. Such a kind thing for someone to do. And they didn't need to do it, but they bothered to do it. And so I put it back in the thing and left it where it was for the next person.
Someone else, yeah, love that.
And it's nice. It's a good thing to do.
And
So
then-
there's some lovely people out there.
And then didn't you do that recently, though, for someone?
I did it for someone else, yeah. I just thought, I don't know why, it just suddenly took me, I'm going to go and do that. And I did it.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I don't know whether it's gone now.
Yeah.
Someone probably used it to light their fire with or something.
Keeping them warm at least. Oh, I love that. And my next question, maybe we've already answered it, but what was the most difficult thing in your life, difficult time? Is it the cancer or is it other combos?
I think it's a combo of stuff. I think before I had I think you used the word epiphany a lot, but before I had that cancer moment where life is always going to be good for me, no matter what life chucks at me now, it's going to be good.
Love that.
So before that, I think I had an awful lot of stress in my life, twice in my life, a couple of times. I'm not going to go into details about them, but to the point where I possibly wouldn't have been here anymore.
Yeah.
So that much depression. And actually, rather than driving into a concrete truck at 90 miles an hour, I pulled over and I broke down, and I managed to deal with it myself, which is, I'm not saying anyone should do that, but maybe that was the time of the world. Now, there's people out there, you can talk to people, you can get help, but you can't always see that.
There's always a way out.
There is, and life is wonderful. I've been through some stuff. I know I got divorced from your mum. I love you. I love your mum to death. We were a great team. We got beautiful children.
It was tough though.
And I get on really well with your mum now. That was really tricky time for me. Blimey, it's all sort of quite a lot of bits came all along at once. But coming through the other side of it, I am just so much more happy. And life is beautiful, and enjoy every minute. Every minute.
You can really, really tell that you are so much happier from the inside out.
Definitely.
And I always talk about this on my podcast. Is it the outside that creates our inside reality, or is it the inside that creates our outside reality?
I think it's got to come from inside.
That's what everyone seems to have said, and I meditated on that, and I would agree. But you had a rough couple of years, really. Like you had
and losing my parents. That
divorce,
was
lost
awful.
both your parents, then you got cancer,
Yeah.
and it was COVID.
Yeah,
It's pretty pretty intense.
Put those in the mix. But then again, I've got some friends that are seriously ill, and I lost Graham, my old friend. He died from motor neurone disease, which is appalling.
Yeah.
I've got one of my best friends. I shared a flat with him when I was 19. Ben, who's got multiple sclerosis, and he's had that for years, decades, and he continues. And people with Parkinson's and stuff like that. These are progressive illnesses. What mine was pretty tough, but it was over. Yeah. And it was, you've dealt with that. I can give you the all clear. Right, it took a while to get that. Yeah. You're waiting and waiting and waiting, but you get the all clear. Some of these friends of mine won't get the all clear. They know they've got terminal illnesses, but they're not quick. They take years and years and years, and that's a toughie. That's a different kind of inner strength, like we spoke about at the beginning, because you had that golden light at the end, or green light at the end of the tunnel, whereas that is way more tough on the old mental stability there. But I guess, like you said at the beginning, you just got to find a way, haven't you? Yeah. But if you had the choice now to turn back the clock and erase all of those difficult times from your life, would you? No. No way? No. Love that. Because it's part of what makes you you. I didn't know that question was coming along, but I didn't answer it quickly, didn't I? Yeah. And you didn't know. No, I wouldn't know, because that change was so profound for me. That having gone through, the cancer mainly, but it probably was a lot of the other things as well, which were tough. But the cancer bit, and then thinking you might die and saying, well, what's next, sort of thing, and then being told, no, we think we've beaten it. You're all right. It's going to take a while to get back to your full fitness. It might take a few years to get your taste buds back and swallow and that. But no, brilliant. And then finding love with relationships. It's so beautiful. I was just going to say, because I always change is the only constant in life, right? And things are always changing. Yep. Positive, negative. People like to say good and bad. I don't believe in that, because I believe it's all part of what creates you. Yeah. The darkness and the light and everything. So if you hadn't been through all of those things, you would be a different person. And if you were a different person, you may not have attracted your lovely current partner. No, indeed. So it just shows, it always works out in the end. Well, what else is life about apart from learning? That's my phrase. That's what life's about, to learn things. Yeah. I heard FKA Twigs, I don't know if you know her. No. She said something on a podcast about that. She said, I just love learning things. She learns new skills all the time, and she's really good at everything she learns. And I really embody that. I just think you've got to learn stuff, and if you're not learning, you're not growing. Oh, so what's the third thing I've got? Is there a third? That was 3. Hey? That was 3. It was the best moment of your life. Oh yeah, what are the 3 best moments in your life? I've only done 2. I know, but we did 3 questions instead. Well, I've got a final one. Well, no, I've done it. This is the end. I'm trying to wrap this up. You've got to do one more. You've got to do one more. I did it. So I did what is the best thing that ever happened to you? Yeah. Us, the kids. Yeah. What is the most life-changing moment? Yeah. The big C. Yeah. And then I did what's been the most difficult moment. Oh, yeah. And right. And so I've done it. One more. There's one more. I don't have one more, Dad, in the tank. Yeah. What's the best moment? Next. You've got to ask me. Have you got one? Ask me the question. Okay. Yeah. Dad, what is your third most best moment of your life? The rest of my life. Way, but I'm kaboom! Never to be forgotten. Because I'm of a certain age now. I'm not going to say it on here, but if I've got 15 healthy, good years left, that means I've got 15 springs, summers, autumns, and winters. And if you don't do it, you never will. So get on and do it. And if anyone was ever to ask me, "Oh, should I do that?" I'd go, "Do it." You've done that with me, actually. I have done it with you, and I'd say it with Ben. Don't keep thinking about it and talking about it. Go and bloody do it. Yeah, I love that. All right, it's marvellous. Life is good.
I love that for a last.
I love you.
Best. Oh, I love you too. But okay, we're gonna wrap it up there.
Wrap it up there.
Thank you
It's
for being.
a wrap.
It's a wrap. Thank you so much for sharing your wise wisdom that I am lucky enough to get to listen to when we choose to speak. But yeah, really, really appreciate it.
That's all right. You're welcome.
Big love.
See you
Thanks.
next time.
Bye.
Bye.
If you want to see more of what I'm up to, please give me a follow on Instagram at Tabitha Camden. Thank you so much for listening today. I super enjoy recording these podcasts. And if you've enjoyed listening, please hit that follow or like or subscribe button for Tab Talks podcasts.